The story happens in 1905 in Cork, Ireland. Percy Fawcett, a British soldier, joins a deer hunting contest with other soldiers. He wins the contest, and this makes people notice him. Later that night, Percy and his wife go to a party that celebrates the hunting event. Many soldiers of similar rank are there. Even though Percy is skilled, he is the only one without any military awards. Some people at the party feel sorry for him. They quietly talk about how Percy is a good soldier, but his family has a bad reputation. His father is known for drinking and gambling, which has made others look down on them. I find it interesting how much social reputation weighed heavier than actual competence during these times. Perhaps Percy's entire journey is also an attempt to outrun his family's shadow. He's been rather unfortunate in his choice of answers. In March 1906, Percy gets ready to go to London. He has been called to the Royal Geographical Society. When he arrives, he meets Sir George Goldie, an important leader in the society. Percy has heard that Sir George has sent people on important missions around the world. Sir George tells Percy that only a small part of Bolivia has been mapped. The Amazon area is still mostly unknown. The land is full of rubber trees that bring in a lot of money. But now, Bolivia and Brazil are fighting over where the borders are. And both countries want Britain to help before it turns into war. Sir George offers Percy the job of mapping these unknown areas. Percy first asks for a more famous mission, hoping to build his name faster. I can't help but see Percy's ambition shining through here. There's a hunger for legacy that seems to drive him beyond logic at times. But Sir George says this is not a normal mapping job. The area is dangerous, with harsh weather, deadly sicknesses, and tribes that might not be friendly. If Percy succeeds, it will bring him a lot of respect. When Percy goes back home, he tells his wife about the offer. She supports him because she knows Percy is doing this to improve their future. In April 1906, Percy started his journey to the Amazon. On the ship, he meets Henry Costin, who is supposed to help him. Percy feels annoyed because they have been traveling together for a week, but haven't talked properly. Costin says he was watching Percy to see if he was really ready for the tough job ahead. Percy tells him that this mission is very important for his name and future. This admission struck me as both honest and tragic. Percy is not hiding the fact that this is as much personal as it is professional. Our reputation as a man rests entirely on our success. Later, they receive new orders to map the Ver River, which is part of the area Bolivia and Brazil are fighting over. This river goes through thick forests, and they will start their job from a place called Finda Jacobina, near a rubber plantation. By July 1906, Percy and his team reached eastern Bolivia, a place that has never been mapped before. They visit the Finda Jacobina Opera House, where they meet a young soldier named Manly. Manly gives them a message from the Border Commission telling them to stop the mission because of the war dangers. But Percy refuses to stop. He asks Manly to send a message back, saying they will continue. Percy also tells Manly to find local guides. This moment foreshadows a key theme in the story: Percy's dependency on those he underestimates, especially the natives and their knowledge. Manly says the only way to get a guide is to buy an Indian slave from a man called Baron, who owns the plantation. Baron's men warn them that nobody has ever come back alive from the forest. Ain't nobody goes back. The next day, they start a trip with big rafts and horses. On the way, they see a German boat, but before they can talk, they are attacked by native warriors. One of Percy's men is hit by an arrow and falls into the river. Percy and others jog to the river to escape, but the river is full of piranhas. Percy and Costin get back onto the raft, but one man is killed by the fish after getting stuck in the nets. Even after this, they keep going. They stop at a safe place to rest. Manly gets very sick, coughing up blood, while Costin's hand is badly infected. Percy asks the guide how far they still have to go. The guide says it will take more weeks. The guide also tells them stories of the place, saying it is dangerous, but has gold and rubber. He talks about an old city deep in the jungle, older than England, but only known in native stories. Percy does not believe him. I wonder if Percy's skepticism here is a shield against hope. Perhaps he fears that believing in myths will make him appear foolish, like the explorers before him. The That night, Percy asks Costin to read a letter from his wife because he is too afraid to read it himself. The letter says his wife and children moved to Devon and that she gave birth to a baby boy named Brian. Percy feels guilty for leaving them and burns the letter. They continue their trip, but their food runs out and one man starts losing his mind from hunger. They are not sure they will survive. After many hard weeks, they finally reach the upper part of the river, a place no white explorer has been to before. Their guide runs away, but they expect this since his job was only to bring them there. They go deeper into the jungle and hunt a wild boar, which becomes their only food for the trip back. During the trip, Percy finds broken pottery. He starts thinking the guide's stories might be true. It becomes clear that even though the area is unknown to them, people have lived there long before. Percy starts believing an ancient city might really exist. I feel this marks the true turning point. Percy moves from explorer to believer, and from here his journey becomes more personal and spiritual. After finishing their job of mapping the river, they return home. Percy is welcomed as a hero and called the bravest explorer of his time. Later, Percy meets James Murray, a biologist and explorer. Murray has read Percy's articles about the slave trade. Percy tells him that the Amazon tribes should be respected and protected. Murray suggests they go back to find the lost city instead of just mapping borders. Murray's suggestion complicates everything. I find it ironic that the man who later turns into Percy's greatest burden is also the one to reignite the quest for Z. He says they should keep this goal secret for now, as it might help protect the tribes. In February 1911, Percy shares his report with an audience. He says, the Amazon is not just a big forest, but hides a lost civilization that might be the ancestors of today's tribes. But the people are shocked. Amazonia contain a hidden civilization. I don't think Percy is chasing old myths that led many explorers to die. But Percy insists that if they find the lost city, it will change human history. To support his claim, Percy shows the pottery pieces and talks about an old document his wife found at Trinity College. It was written by a Portuguese soldier in 1753 and talks about a lost city, which Percy now calls the Lost City of Z. Many people laugh at Percy's ideas. Murray challenges him to go back and prove it, and Percy agrees. Say we go. Percy's decision upsets his wife. She wants to go with him, saying she has learned navigation and the area's history. But Percy tells her the journey is too dangerous and reminds her they have children. In May 1912, Percy, Costin, Manley, Murray, and others start a new trip. Murray soon gets tired and complains his bag is too heavy, throwing away things he thinks are not needed. Later, they are attacked by native tribes who live deep in the forest. It is Percy's first time facing such an attack. He tells his men not to fight back. To calm the attackers, Percy sings Soldiers of the Queen, and Manley plays music. Slowly, the tribe calms down, and Percy carefully approaches them. Once the tribe sees they mean no harm, Percy invites his team to join. The tribe's leader welcomes them and lets them stay as guests. But when Murray finds out this tribe is known for cannibalism, he refuses to stay and leaves the group. Percy and the others stay and learn from the tribe. Percy talks to the chief about the lost city. The chief says he only knows stories but cannot say if it's true. He tells them to continue upriver where they might meet others who know more. The tribe shows them how they fish and farm without harming the land. Percy feels ashamed. He realizes that even though modern people see these tribes as primitive, they live in balance with nature and have skills outsiders do not understand. The journey progresses, and the group comes across Murray, who is weak and lying in the forest. He has consumed all of their remaining food supplies. Percy is infuriated with him, saying that even his own children would be more reliable. Percy's frustration felt painfully relatable to me. He's a man watching his carefully built mission unravel. Then it's hard not to sympathize. The situation worsens when they travel by raft. The river's current becomes fierce, and Percy orders Murray to stay still to keep the raft steady. However, Murray moves carelessly, causing one of the food Their troubles continue when the raft crashes into a rock. Manly falls into the water and Percy tells him to swim to the shore. Shortly after, Murray also falls into the river, but instead of swimming to safety, he clings to the side of the raft, tilting it dangerous. Manly manages to help Murray to the riverbank, and they all pause to recover. Due to these accidents, they have lost 2 food baskets, and Percy is extremely angry with Murray for being so unhelpful. Murray's condition worsens, and Hoop continues to blame Percy for all that has happened. Because of Murray's situation, the group's progress slows, and after discussing the matter carefully, they decide it is best to send him back. Percy arranges for him to go to a nearby miners' camp south of the river. He provides Murray with food, their last remaining horse, and arranges for a local man to guide him. Percy explains that he cannot risk Murray's poor health endangering the safety of the group. Instead of showing gratitude, Murray accuses Percy of not caring about him. Once Murray leaves, the group discovers that their remaining food supplies have been sabotaged by Murray before his departure. With no food left, they are forced to abandon their journey and head home. Though Percy urges the team not to give up so easily, it becomes clear that the remaining food won't last for even a week, and he decides to end the exploration. When Percy returns home, he learns that his wife has given birth to their 3rd child, a girl named Joan. He feels grateful for his wife who has taken care of their family so well in his absence. A few days later, Percy and the team attend a meeting at the Royal Geographical Society, where Murray is also present. At the meeting, Murray accuses Percy of abandoning him. Percy defends his decision, stating that he gave Murray enough supplies to survive and had to make the choice that would keep the group safe. Murray argues that the entire journey was a failure because they spent too much time with wild tribes and found no evidence of the lost city. Costin intervenes, blaming Murray for the failure and accusing him of sabotaging the food supplies. Murray insists that he is innocent and accuses Costin and Manly of dishonesty. Costin becomes furious, saying that they should have let Murray die in the forest. The director interrupts to calm the situation. Murray demands that Percy publicly admit his mistakes in front of the entire association and his wife. Percy refuses, stating that he did more than enough by providing Murray with the horse and the extra food. He reminds everyone that he could not abandon Murray, even though the rest of the team wanted him to. Despite his explanation, Murray keeps demanding an apology. I demand an apology right now. He will apologize to me. After the meeting, Percy resigns from the association. When he returns home, his wife informs him that the former officer has reported his name to the War Office, which means Percy will soon be called to serve in the army. His son Jack becomes angry, accusing Percy of always leaving them. Jack points out that although Percy just returned from his failed exploration, he is already preparing to go to war. Percy tries to explain that serving his country is his duty, but Jack questions whether Percy ever thinks about his family. What is the obligation to mother and to us, your family? Overcome with emotion, Percy slaps Jack in a moment of frustration. His wife comforts Jack and reassures him that everything Percy does is for their well-being. 2 years later, Percy is stationed on the front lines with the soldiers. During this time, they hear news that Murray has joined an Arctic expedition with a Canadian team, but deserted them. This confirms to Percy and his men that Murray is a coward. One day, a psychic from Russia visits their camp. Everyone is curious about what the psychic has to say about Major Percy. The psychic tells him that the place he has been searching for is even greater than he imagines. She says that his spirit will not find peace until he discovers it, as it is his destiny. On September 26, 1916, Percy and his troops prepare for an attack on the enemy. He encourages his men to fight bravely for their families and comrades. Unfortunately, Percy is shot during the assault. Although he survives, the wound affects his eye, and the doctor tells him that while he will live, continuing his explorations would be too risky. Not as kind. Percy is heartbroken, as finding the lost city was the most important dream of his life. This is where I see Percy as the archetype of the tragic dreamer, wounded not just in body, but in spirit. In 1923, Percy decided to retire from his military duties. After his retirement, a journalist visits him, saying that many readers are eager to know what Percy has been doing since the end of the war. Percy tells the journalist that he is now living a normal life and doing well. The journalist also mentions that Percy's South American journey has greatly inspired people in the United States, creating a wave of interest in exploration. He adds that Dr. Hamilton Rice is preparing an expedition to Brazil with modern tools like radios and airplanes. Many people have already signed up for the expedition. Percy listens quietly, expressing only his hope that these explorers will respect and protect whatever they discover. This line struck me. I sense a more humbled Percy here. Someone who perhaps regrets how much he once wanted to conquer the unknown rather than respect it. Let us hope that Dr. Royce, with all his arms, does not destroy what he wishes to discover. One day, Jack is practicing his shooting by hunting rabbits. Percy walks up to him and hands him a necklace he once received from the Green Tribe. Jack asks his father if he still believes in the Lost City. Percy doesn't answer with words, but simply nods. Jack then says he wants to join his father on an expedition to find the Lost City. Percy, however, says no, explaining that he is too old for such a dangerous journey. You and I get the finest that he wants. Jack argues that they can't let the Americans, who might destroy the city with their weapons, take over the search. Jack's fiery idealism mirrors his father's, but I couldn't help wonder if this is history repeating itself, another generation chasing a mirage. He insists that they should be the ones to find the city first and protect it. After thinking for a moment, Percy agrees, but he says Jack must first convince his mother to let him go. Jack talks to his mother later and admits that the journey is dangerous, but he reminds her of the advice she always gives about living beyond one's comfort zone. Hearing her own words used back at her, Jack's mother feels trapped. He just used my land went against me. And how can I refute them now, man? She never expected to have her own advice used against her, so in the end, she agrees to let Jack go with his father. Percy also invites his old friend Costin to join him. Costin refuses, saying he can't leave his wife and child behind, and he also cannot afford the costs of the expedition. Percy begins to suspect that Costin no longer believes in the Lost City. But Costin explains that it's not the city he doubts. He wonders if finding it will actually give them all the answers they hope for. On December 3, 1924, Percy announces to the press that he would return to the jungle to search for the lost city of Z, this time with his eldest son Jack. The Royal Geographical Society agrees to help fund the expedition. The head of the society even apologizes for not trusting Percy in the past, especially during the conflict with Murray. At the event, Percy shows the media a compass he has kept for 20 years, saying it will be a symbol of his journey. When we reach that, I shall send it to you as a sign. Finally, the day to leave arrives. By April 1925, Percy and Jack arrived in the Amazon rainforest. Percy points out the site of an old plantation, and they continue walking until they reach a village belonging to a local tribe. The tribe members tell Percy about a hidden cave that no outsiders know about. They also mention a large rock covered in images of people and horses, which they believe could be the entrance to the Lost City. Percy and Jack are warmly welcomed by the tribe's chief, and Percy feels that all people are connected by a common ancestry. After resting in the village, Percy and Jack continue their journey. Deep in the forest, they come across a group of hostile tribes and are forced to run. They eventually find another tribe that rescues them and takes them to their salons. Colorful rituals for them. During this time, Jack feels certain that they will die there, but Percy reassures him, saying that the world is full of mysteries, and even if they don't find all the answers, the journey itself has given their lives deeper meaning. From then on, they decide to follow whatever the tribe asks of them. Life's a mystery, my boy. We know so that left us one. Years go by and Percy and Jack never return. Percy's wife goes to the head of the Royal Geographical Society, telling him that a Brazilian man had claimed to have seen Percy and Jack living among the local tribes. The director suggests that she accept the possibility that they may never come back. More than 100 people are sent to search for them, but none succeed. The Brazilian man also gives her an object Percy had shown before the expedition, the compass. This makes her wonder if Percy and Jack truly found the lost city and chose to stay there. At the end of the story, it's revealed that for nearly a century, people mocked Percy's belief in the lost city. I feel a bittersweet triumph here. It reminds me how pioneers are often scorned in their lifetime, only to be vindicated by future generations. However, in the early 20th century, archaeologists discovered an incredible network of ancient roads, bridges, and farming areas hidden in the Amazon forest. Among these findings is the location Percy had identified as the possible site of the lost city of Z.